English. For the kids one, we are going to do it in Italy because it's a project we are doing with a colleague from Ferrara, so we're going to develop it in Italian.
Okay, so the question is, do you think that you will find difference? Because in outdoor soundscape, they did like official translation of the 8 different...
Yeah, I'm going to talk about
Okay.
it now. So I cannot say because I did the one in English for residential, and then we are doing this one for educational. So I might not be able to compare. I wanted just on this to just a few slides on the Soundscape Attributes Translation project that was mentioned by Massimiliano. It's not a project I've been part of. I think Arianna was part of it. But I was really interested on what they have been doing, and it's quite complex. So I wanted just to report because again it's related to the circumplex use. So the aims were to providing a set of validated translated attributes based on the ones included in the ISO standard, and providing material for validating languages. The final aim would be like the different people in different contexts of the world could collect soundscape data in their own language, plot in the same circumplex model, and compare aspects that are not related to the translation, but to cultural or contextual factors. Because otherwise the option was to use English everywhere, but it's not fair, or to have spontaneous translation, as we often do, but it's not the perfect case. So these 3 steps, this was just a simplification made by myself because the project is quite complex. There was a translation of the 8 attributes with different methodologies and experts and focus groups, listening tests according to a shared protocol from all the partners from the different countries, and then checking the circumplex structure of each language. What does it mean? It means that we don't always have this perfect ideal scenario with all the attributes perfectly distanced one to the other. So assuming that the diagonal is at 45 degrees. And we might also have issues in terms of commonality, so where the variables, the distance of the variables from the center, or the equity of distance between the attributes. So in this translation, the researchers were also checking, first of all, if when translating, the order we expect on the attributes was maintained, and whether the final structure was the ones of a circumplex or a semi-circumplex. In the end, this is what we need as researchers. They derived the right terms and also some angles to apply when calculating the data for the bidimensional space. This allows us to again compare data because otherwise, having different circumplex structure, we wouldn't be able to put all the data in the same bidimensional space. So by doing these angle correction that are implemented also in tools as Soundscape, we can expect that the differences we see are not derived from the translation itself or the different circumplex structure, but by other variables that might be related to the context or cultural backgrounds. So compared to the formula included in the standard, everything gets a bit more complicated because you have also these angles now. I wanted just to, I don't know if we have how much time. Okay, cool, perfect. So examples of soundscape data collected and plotted in circumplex in different contexts. This is part of Silenzi in Quota. I was talking about this 2 years before here, very briefly collecting soundscape data in protected natural areas. trying to apply a standard that was developed in the context of urban areas, in protected natural areas, in which protection shouldn't be just related to landscape, visual landscape, but also soundscape. So we are taking binaural measurements and asking people about the perceived dominance of different sounds, and then plotting perceived affective states. This is Lago di Braies. There was yesterday a report about over-tourism in Italy, and there is Venice, Rimini, and South Tyrol as the areas with highest over-tourism state in Italy, more than Naples or Rome. That was surprising me. And this is one of the reason why we are running this project. So this is the point in which people go there, park their car, take the perfect pictures to post in Instagram, and you see that most of the sounds are just human beings. And it was just not us, because we were silently listening, so it was the other tourists being there. If you just go next to the lake, but here you have to walk half an hour, so you cannot find many tourists there. You see how the soundscape changed completely, entirely, with bird songs, wind and water, and the resulting soundscapes is really calming. Those are the results from the first 5 soundbooks being published these days in a paper in Scientific Reports, in which we collected through linear mixed models, so accounting for the nested nature of data across different locations and different listening points, and seeing how, for instance, in this case, the perception of human voice wasn't resulting that vibrant as we see before, but also was the main driver for the perception of a chaotic soundscape. So the context, again, is the key driver. Then we were trying to input into these models also acoustic or psychoacoustic factors. And in this case, what we found as a proxy for presence of human beings was tonality. And I hope everything is fine. I was checking. We were in the light of the thermometer. We were in the light area. But of course, the context, again, we were comparing data with the literature, and the problem is that here the context is often missing other background noise. So we see that here, for instance, compared to other acoustic or psychoacoustic metrics, the tonality was the one being able to distinguish between better perceived and bad perceived soundscapes, but this was correlated to the perceived dominance of human sounds. Another example was, and this is interesting, I think, because I've seen that you have a talk about visual and acoustic aspects, an experiment we did in VR. Again, this was related, also collecting data on cognitive aspects and physiological data. I'm just reporting data about perception and the circumplex. Here we were comparing different visual scenario in an indoor office space with indoor green and outdoor green, so viewed from the window, with different sound scenarios. So a background office noise plus traffic, or office noise plus natural sounds. Okay, here this was the setup, but basically what it was interesting was just that for soundscape we couldn't find a cross-modal effect of what we see on soundscape perception. So you see here that, for instance, the view of outdoor green can result of anything between chaotic and calm, depending, because basically what it's clearly making our perception is what we are hearing. And we see here clear difference between natural sounds, office noise, and office plus traffic. And I wanted to conclude with an application. I've been working with Massimiliano and a PhD student, Giulia Toriani, at the University of Trento with URAC Research. That is about developing this in the context of smells and indoor smells. This was done and for offices. Again, there is a similarity between the noise control and soundscape with the traditional, we say, indoor air quality and indoor smellscape approaches. In this case, the stimuli delivery was done through an olfactometer in collaboration with the Center for Brain-Mind Sciences, and the delivery of stimuli was, so the setup was this, in a simulated office, in an environmental chamber, in a living lab at URAC Research, in which we could accurately measure our environmental conditions. There were 42 participants and 22 olfactory stimuli. There was a search for what are the typical stimuli in office context. So there was a bit of preparatory work for this. So you see here the olfactometer and the ratings of the different stimuli, and I will go straight to the results that are quite, again, similar in the structure to what we have seen from basic environmental psychologists to soundscapes and now smellscapes. So we have a first component that is related to pleasantness. The second one that is related to the presence of smells, and all the smells have equal intensity. So there was an assessment before. And then on the diagonals, effect of having like a light smellscape that is slightly present and pleasant, or an engaging one, or if it's present but unpleasant, it would be overpowering, as opposed to a smellscape that is unpleasant and absent, that would be characterized as detached ones. Then we managed to plot the different smells in this perceptual space, and the next work we are doing is trying to link the psychoacoustic metrics, that in this case I would be molecular compounds from by analyzing data emitted by olfactometers and trying to see whether there is a link with perception. This was a bit of an excursus of my knowledge on circumplex, and thank you.
Questions? Comments? Many.
Do you think that the smellscape model could be applied for outdoor environments?
So there are studies on that. So there is a model by Jianling Xiao. I think there are some differences, but the model derivation was different. So the methodology, from what I know, but of course, it's not my focus. The focus of my research is that there are some differences. But I think what was interesting also for a multisensory characterization is that if the structure is more or less similar across senses, we can then, I don't know, plot in a same simplified way. This is just my guess, of course, I've never done it, but we could plot in the same space different responses to different senses. I don't know if it makes sense, but we could try.
Thank you, Simone, for your presentation. I would come back to the relation between the outcome of your activity and the indoor environment design. Do you think that your outcome can be useful to design special arrangement of the workstation, special devices, in order to characterize, to personalize also the soundscape near the workstation, like happens for the thermal comfort, for example?
Thanks. So first of all, the soundscape implication are just, doesn't need that we need a number or a metric. Sometimes it's also like, I was thinking, can we use natural ventilation to improve comfort? So it's a different way to ask a question that has not a practical implication. And about the concept of personalized comfort systems, or PECs, we have now proposed to extend this concept to the field of acoustics within the Annex 87. So the first step was trying to map, like we have thermal personalized environmental comfort system, the heated chairs, the personal fan, and so on. Can we know about headphones, but we wanted to see, like, do we have other ways to personalize our acoustic environment without annoying others? So we did this first effort, but now, of course, people are asking then how should we design that, and what are the implications? Yeah, this is all work to be done. Also, starting from recognizing them as acoustic packs, change the way you test in a research, because you need to test the effect on a person, but also on adjacent persons to other persons, as in a thermal comfort research. But this is all to be done.
Other questions? I have a question about the office. I want to go. Okay, to go back. Okay, this. Can you? I haven't understood well the results. So can you explain better to me this?
Yes. So these were just the results about people's perception, not reporting about the cognitive performance and physiological.
No,
so we had one first condition that was with the office noise, and then two other conditions with the office noise plus traffic, also office noise plus nature, that at the same overall level. So here we see we were checking whether soundscape pleasantness and eventfulness could be affected by what we see. So the outdoor green, seeing green from windows or seeing green from inside the space, or having a non-biophilic design, so no greenery. And we see that it's not able to distinguish between something positive or negative. We have blue here and blue here, or pink here and pink there. So it's not related to that one. Basically, it was just a confirmation. In this case, it was just a monodimensional evaluation, soundscape evaluation. And yeah, I was reporting because I think it's, again, a good way to communicate and visualize data. So here we had office noise that was calm, sometimes monotonous, natural sounds that were evaluated as calm or vibrant, and the office plus traffic that was assessed as chaotic.
Thank you.
E c'è tempo per un'altra domanda, sono 5 minuti abbiamo ancora.
I have a curiosity about smellscape. In the case of arousal, that the same issue as before. I wonder if there is a certain of Gaussian behavior also for smellscape, so that it is a smell concentration that improves some performance, or is that too much smell is always a condition that is detrimental or whatever. So I wonder if this, but it is this height.
I think I don't want to take the floor of Simone because
please do.
No, but I can reply to you later if you want. I'm happy to. And so if I may, I can ask a question to Simone. So I leave Simone the floor for this question, then I address this. I was wondering, you talk about comfort, sound comfort, thermal comfort. I was wondering, what is your opinion about multisensory comfort? So the effect that many different aspects can have on our comfort evaluation.
So this is the crucial question, and what I am interested to study. And also part of the research we are conducting goes into like trying to assess these differences. I don't have an answer. There are different models in the literature where the focus on satisfaction, on discomfort. I think also the global comfort models Arianna studied, like, is it that if you have only one component that is negative, then the overall evaluation is negative? Or is it something that you can sum? Is it something that you can integrate? So it's not something new, that there are studies. I don't have a clear idea for sure. I think having a common model that could be used, I don't know, for thermalscapes, for smellscapes, for soundscapes could help maybe. So that when doing research and varying the different stimuli, we can then refer to the same space. And about the question on smells, I mean, I'm not an expert on this. I was just applying statistics to a different field in which we had, then is a project in which we had different backgrounds. Here, all the stimuli were judged as equal intensity because we did a pre-study on the stimuli because we wanted to control of them. So we were also, this is more not a research data, but we were trying like diffusers in our lab spaces to then get our initial feedback, to then trying to use them in research. And it's really tricky because it's not always easy. And once it gets in the overpowering modes, people don't want them. So yeah, for sure, I don't know if it's a concentration, how to characterize that. We are then trying to analyze and correlate data as Axelson did, like level and the perception to do the same. It might not make sense in this case, but we will see.
The same perception process that I don't know.
I don't know, because from what I know, like in sensory studies for smells and perfume, they just usually rely on jury testing. So there are not that many models as we have for psychoacoustics. So it looks that smells will rely even more than soundscapes on just people evaluation, but we will see. It would be amazing to build.
Grazie Simone Torresin. C'era un'altra. No. Sì, certo.
Okay.
Prego.
I have a question regarding your VR experiment. What do you think about VR? Does this extend the range of the application? So I'm doubting sometimes. So if you're in situ, you're doing some measurements, and then you may have the intention that the sound has a certain importance or the visual impact, other things. So, but I think the sound is very often the most dominant factor that is used by people. But maybe I have an error with that. But if you do binary recordings, for example, and have a playback, then you have a high performance also for the playback. But if you're using VR devices, I'm doubting a little bit about that. Did we make some tests? Do we have some experience? How good this works with VR?
No.
Tools? Okay. Okay. You too. Okay, then we will discuss this later. Okay.
I mean, this was validated because it was a real office, and then so they could compare perceptual response from the real office, but not from an acoustical point of view. So no, I won't respond because my experience in virtual reality is very limited.
Scusa, grazie. Ci sono, sì. Okay. Allora, solo per chiudere questa prima parte della mezzogiornata, e ci ritroviamo alle 2 in punto, quindi anche lo streaming riprenderà alle 14, più tardi facciamo una pausa ora, e dalle 14 alle 18 la seconda parte della prima giornata di incontri. Grazie, a dopo.